Hi everyone, it's your boy Ricky here with Bromero Cards, and today I'm super excited to be showing you some new products that Ranger and Simon Hurley sent over to me. Simon Hurley had a new release of a product called Lunar Paste, and we're going to be spreading it out on some white and black paper here. So first what I'll do is I'll go ahead and show you all the colors that were sent over to me. I believe this is all the colors that they have right now, but we have Later Gator and Clear Skies. We have Bee Sting and Traffic Cone. And then last but not least, we have Slippery When Wet, which is kind of a goldish yellow. It's probably my favorite one out of all of them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip through the video here. I'm going to use a palette knife and I'm just going to spread this over on some white paper and some black paper so you guys are able to see what it looks like on each type of paper. And then what I'll do after the music, I'll come back and then we'll make a card using some of the Lunar Paste. So I'll be back soon. Bye. Okay, so now that you have seen all of the colors spread out on black and white paper, I thought I would go ahead and make a card using some of this paste. We are going to be using Bee Sting here. We're going to be using some white cardstock. We're going to be using a stamp set by Concord and Knight, and along with the matching dies. And we're also going to be using a stencil from Stamp Anniething. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take Bee Sting here and we're going to go ahead and place that onto the black cardstock, and I'm just going to spread that out kind of like icing on a cake, and then make sure to get all the hearts covered and get the whole card front covered with these hearts and the Bee Sting. This just takes a thin layer, so it doesn't take a lot of the product, and actually you can scrape a lot of it off after you get all the hearts covered on the cardstock. Now I will be cutting this down a little bit, so I could have probably left some of the hearts off the side, but that's okay, you know. You got to use the product anyway. So we'll go ahead and get all that spread out and get that even, and then we'll move on to the next step. And here you can see the beauty that is this card front, which is the most amazing part probably. It's glittery, it's shiny, it's everything. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and stamp out the stamps here. So I did place the stamps too close together on the stamp press here, or the MISTI, so I actually had to redo some of this, but it's okay. We just had to use more paper. So I'm going to go ahead and get these spread out onto the MISTI so that I can go ahead and get these stamped out. And then we're going to use some ink on 3 black detail ink here to go ahead and get this stamped out onto the Nina Solar cardstock. And then we'll go ahead and get that stamped again to make sure we get some good details on all of the items on the paper. Now that we have that stamped out, we're going to go ahead and get the die cuts here. This is where you'll see that I actually put these stamps too close together and I could not get everything cut out at one time. So I decided just to cut out the typewriter and then go back and cut the sentiment out on a different piece of paper. And then here you're seeing me put down the die, and then I'm placing what I want on the die cut. And we're going to go ahead and get that evened out to make sure it's even on every side. And I am going to put a third stamp between here, but there was not enough room, so I'm going to go ahead and get these 2 stamped out first. And then we'll go ahead and get those die cut out. And now I'm going to put the last stamp in the middle of the 2 sentiments there. And it's basically just XOs, XOs. And I'm going to be using some Concord and 9th Poppy stamp ink color, or actually cranberry, sorry. And we have that stamped out, and then we'll move on to the next step here. Now that that's stamped out, we need to place this sheet so that when it rolls out of the typewriter, when you pull it, that it doesn't come out of the card. So basically what I'm doing here is just sizing it up, making sure this is exactly where I want it to be. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull everything off and get that placed onto the card panel, and then tape that and run that through the die cutting machine. And that's basically going to make a hole for the paper to slide in and out every time you go to pull the piece of paper from the typewriter. So here you'll see that I place the paper in that slot and place the typewriter over that, and then I would pull up and down on the paper to show the sentiment that's on there. So now that we have that done, we're going to put some 3M foam tape on the back of the card panel here so that it's raised enough that the paper can go up and down when it's pulled. And now I'm just doing, I'm putting the Pull Me tab at the very top of the paper, because if I didn't, people wouldn't know to actually pull the paper from the typewriter. Now I'm going to put some 3M foam tape on the back of the typewriter as well, and we'll go ahead and remove the release paper and get that placed onto the card front where it needs to be. Now that we have that placed on there, we'll remove the backing off of the 3M foam tape off the main card and place that down onto the card base. As you noticed, I didn't pull the release paper from all of the pieces of tape because it really isn't required, because it's just for sturdiness and not for the adhesive. I'm going to go ahead and take the sentiment here, and I'm going to square this off in the paper cutter. And now we're going to put some 3M foam tape on the back of that. And then after that, this card is complete. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I truly appreciate it. Also want to give a thank you out to Ranger and Simon Hurley for sending me the Lunar Pastes so that I could play around with them. And please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with others. I am putting one more sentiment inside of the card. I rarely do sentiments inside, but I decided to go ahead and put the XOXO on the inside of the card as well. So once I get that placed onto the back of the card here, the card is complete. So thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it. I will talk with you next week. Bye.